Today we're going to learn about a new author. His name is Tomie dePaola, and I'm going to show you some things that you might read about in some of his books. One of the things that you might read about is popcorn. I love popcorn, and you're going to love his book called The Popcorn Book. Another thing that you might read about in some of his books are Indians. He has a couple of books about Indians. One of his books is called The Legend of the Indian Paintbrush. Something else that you might read about in his story are crayons and paintbrushes. He has a wonderful story called The Art Lesson that talks about when he was in kindergarten learning how to be an artist. And you might need a suitcase or a bag if you go on a vacation like Strega Nona did in Strega Nona Takes a Vacation. And in my favorite story of all, we get to read about the magic pasta pot. And Strega Nona has a magic pasta pot, and we get to read how Big Anthony uses her magic pasta pot without her permission, and we'll find out what happens when he does. Okay. Tomie dePaola is a famous author and illustrator, and here is a picture of Tomie with his dog Bronte. Tomie has written and illustrated over 200 books for children. He's also born in Meridian, Connecticut in 1934 to a family of Irish and Italian background. And here behind me you can see a picture of Tomie with his family, his parents and his siblings. When Tomie was little, his mom loved to read to him, and she read to him every day. This helped Tomie develop a love for reading at a very early age. He knew that he wanted to become an author and an illustrator when he was only 4 years old. Tomie dePaola now lives in London, New Hampshire with his dog Bronte, and he works out of a 200-year-old renovated barn. You can see the picture behind me. Tomie likes to write using many different kinds of stories. He uses lots of genres in his story. We're going to talk about some of the genres that he uses with his books. Some of his books were written about his life as a young child. And one of those books is Nana Upstairs, Nana Downstairs. This autobiographical picture book was one of the very first picture books to introduce children to the concept of death. And it talks about when he was young and his grandmother and how he dealt with the death of his grandmother. Another one of his autobiographical books is The Art Lesson that we mentioned at the beginning. Tomie knows from a very young age he wants to be an artist. And this tells how he learned to in kindergarten and first grade how to be an artist and his frustrations with his art teacher at times. Tomie also likes to write informational books. In two of his informational books, the first one is The Cloud Book. And in this story is a lot of information about clouds. It tells us about the different kinds of clouds, but he also uses lots of wonderful illustrations in these informational books. His other book is called The Popcorn Book. And this tells about brothers Tiny and Tony, and they're hungry for a snack, and they learn all the history about popcorn. Tomie also writes in some of his series. And Strega Nona is one of his series, and in Strega Nona we learn that Strega Nona means Grandma Witch in Italian. And I love this story. It tells about how she has her magic pasta pot and how she goes away and Big Anthony uses her magic pasta pot without her permission. And again, look at his wonderful illustrations, bright and colorful. And also we have Strega Nona Takes a Vacation. Tomie also writes with his fiction books. He has a series about the Barker twins, Moffat and Morgan. And this is Meet the Barkers. And this one. And in this book, A New Barker in the House, this tells about how Moffat and Morgan parents adopt a new baby brother, and he only speaks Spanish. Now, Tomie also has a brand new book. It It goes along with the Strega Nona series that will be coming out on October the 18th, 2011, and it's called Strega Nona's Gift. Now, since Tommy is a distinguished author and illustrator, he has won lots of awards. He won the Caldecott Honor Award for the book Strega Nona in 1973. He won the Newbery Honor Book for 26 Fairmont Avenue in 2000. And in this year, 2011, he won the Laura Ingalls Wilder Award for his substantial and lasting contribution to literature for children. Now we're going to watch a very short video clip.
I can't remember when I wasn't drawing. I loved to draw from the time I was as far back as I can remember, but I remember distinctly the day that I announced to the world, ta-da! I was only 4 years old, and I had an older brother, and everyone asked him, "Oh, buddy, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And he rattled off a bunch of cartoon characters like Dick Tracy, Joe Palooka, Buck Rogers, and I thought, oh, he wants to be a cartoon, you know. And I said, oh, I know what I'm going to be when I grow up. And everyone said, oh, yeah, sure. I said, yes, I'm going to be an artist. I'm going to write stories and draw pictures for books, and I'm going to sing and tap dance on the stage. And I've managed to do all those things and get paid for it. So that's really, it began when I was 4, before I went to kindergarten. And I never, ever thought of considering any other profession. It's a long time ago.
This year in the library, we're going to read lots of Tommy's stories and learn more about his life.